Dr. Ernest Khan, Chairman of the Singapore Institute of Accredited Tax Professionals and President of ICPAS, Mr. Moses Lee, Commissioner of Inland Revenue, Mrs. Chia Ten Hui Min, CEO of the Tax Academy of Singapore, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to all of you. I'm indeed very happy to join you this morning at the official launch of the Singapore Institute of Accredited Tax Professionals, or in short, SIAP. The setting up of the SIAP is an important milestone for the tax profession and accountancy sector in Singapore. Set up by the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Singapore, or ICPAS, in collaboration with the Tax Academy of Singapore, the Institute is the first accreditation body in Singapore for tax professionals. The setting up of the SIAP comes at an opportune time. The changing ecosystem in which professionals work has been molded by several megatrends and emerging issues in the past few years. First, increased connectedness of markets around the world has facilitated globalization, which in turn has made individuals, corporations, and nations more competitive internationally. There is increased movement of individuals, goods and services, and even corporations. Suitably qualified individuals are now truly mobile. Businesses can source competitively priced supplies and sell them to the most lucrative markets regardless of location. Corporations can locate themselves in any part of the world that can best cater to their needs, be it proximity to the customers, suppliers, or simply to be in a jurisdiction that accords them the best financial incentives and a stable pro-business environment. In this regard, the tax professional has a vital role to play in helping to bridge the different needs across tax jurisdictions. So be it the high net worth individuals seeking financial planning advice, businesses needing advice on transfer pricing, or companies needing advice on their tax obligations, there are many opportunities for the tax professional to venture into. Second, the advent of technology has opened up new dimensions for economic growth. It has spawned new products and services, opened up more channels of development, production, and different marketing and distribution methods. The rapid pace of change requires the tax professional to not only keep abreast of changes, but also to constantly look beyond his or her horizon. A strong base of knowledge in tax law and practice, coupled with a continuing professional development regime, will enable and equip the tax professional to be better prepared for future challenges. Third, rapid advancement in technology and increased globalization also brings about increasing complexities in doing business. With new products, services, and methods of production and delivery, business advisors, accountants, and other professional service providers will now have multilateral issues to consider. For instance, how can an author of an e-book protect his intellectual property, and how much tax does he need to pay on the royalties he earns from all over the world? Or how does he ensure that his publisher pays him the agreed upon royalties? As the issues become more complex, there will be increased demand for the expertise of the tax professional. With more cross-border businesses and transactions comes an increasingly complex tax environment. And this is where the demand for tax professionals in niche areas will increase. Multinational corporations, for example, place a higher value on an accountant with professional expertise and knowledge of the tax regimes in the many countries that it operates in. The Asia Pacific in particular will see a huge demand for professional accountancy services and talents, with the market for accountancy services forecast to reach some US $38 billion by 2013. We can capitalize on the growth in the Asia Pacific to build Singapore into a global accounting hub, particularly in the tax sector. There is great potential for us to be a leading regional tax hub and a Center of Excellence in Tax Education. And one key area to explore is to develop deeper professional expertise in tax advisory work to service the increasing cross-border investments and transactions within the Asia-Pacific region. The establishment of the SIAP is thus a timely one. It also complements the recommendations made by the Committee to Develop the Accountancy Sector, or CDAS. The committee was tasked to conduct a holistic review of the Singapore accountancy sector and profession with the aim to position Singapore as a leading international center for accountancy services and professionals. The committee submitted its final recommendations to the Ministry of Finance on 12th April. I'm pleased to announce that my ministry has accepted all the broad recommendations made by the committee. Moving forward, given the wide scope of the committee's recommendations, the government will be working together with the various stakeholder groups to implement the recommendations. These implementation plans will be rolled out in phases. The Ministry of Finance is currently studying the list of possible candidates to chair and form the Pro Tem Singapore Accountancy Council, which will be responsible for spearheading the implementation of the committee's recommendations prior to the formal establishment of the Singapore Accountancy Council. The members of the Pro Tem Council are expected to be determined by July this year. The Accounting and Corporate Regulatory Authority, or ACRA, will also be reviewing the rules and regulations governing the ownership of public accountancy entities. It is heartening to note that organizations such as ICPAS and IRAS have taken it upon themselves to set up SIAP, which directly supports the committee's recommendation to position Singapore as a center of excellence for high value-adding professional expertise and the development of niche specialization pathways in areas such as international tax expertise. As the upgrading of the tax profession is a salient component of the Inland Revenue Authority of Singapore, or IRAS's tax compliance framework, I'm pleased that IRAS will be lending full support to the Institute. SIAP aims to promote the standards of tax practice as well as the technical competence and capability of tax professionals. The Institute will also play an important role in thought and practice leadership for the tax profession. Applicants will need to fulfill robust accreditation requirements that center on having acquired approved practical experience in tax practice and/or having completed relevant examinations. Additionally, they are required to fulfill a minimum number of continuing professional development hours annually to ensure that they are kept abreast of the latest tax changes. These are all important criteria to ensure that members of SIAP are equipped with the knowledge, experience and skill sets necessary to meet the challenges of an increasingly complex tax environment. As companies start to ride the wave of recovery in the global economy and adapt to global megatrends, Singapore must continue to invest in the quality of our workforce and position ourselves as the business and knowledge hub of the region. Continuous learning and attaining a certain level of proficiency in the field will help tax professionals reap productivity gains in their professional work. Assuring professional standards locally through accreditation and equipping our professionals with skills for international tax work are imperatives in a globalized tax environment. This initiative signifies that tax practice and compliance standards will be raised even higher. So on this note, I congratulate SIAP on its official launch and wish all of you an enjoyable morning. Thank you.